Hello, this is Megan Taylor Morrison, and I am here with Zoe Brooker today. This is another interview in our series on self marriage. Thank you for being here, Zoe. I'm so excited to get all the details.
You're welcome, Meg. I'm honored to be here talking with you about it too.
Yeah. Well, before we dive into those details, I want to ask a zoomed out question.
Mhm.
What does self marriage mean to you?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I think it's changed a lot. The first time I ever heard of the concept of self marriage was actually a really good friend of mine. And she had done this kind of, oh, I forgot the name of the artist from New York, but she kind of did a workshop. And within that, and this book that he had written, one of the first chapters was about having some kind of ceremony and commitment to yourself, um, and having a self marriage. So that was the first time I heard about it, and I thought, oh, that's cool. She kind of told me what she did,
Mm.
which was just like a very like simple ceremony for herself. And it wasn't until many years later that I decided to do it myself. And now it's one of the most important and amazing things that I have really done for myself.
Wow,
Yeah.
I love that. And when you married yourself in 2014, what inspired that decision?
Yeah. So I had just separated from my husband, and it was a really difficult relationship. And, um, I lost myself in that relationship. Um, and, you know, and struggled through it. Like the whole time we were together, I kind of held him up on a pedestal. I really gave up a lot of my own aspirations. Definitely wasn't really in touch with, who I was and what I needed and what I wanted. And the dynamic of our relationship and kind of who he is and who I am just kind of made me very what's that called in a codependent like role. And so he was actually the one that split up with me. And when he did that, like although I was devastated and I just wanted to hang on to it, I also had this profound sense of coming back into myself and feeling empowered again and starting to understand myself again and be aware of like my own needs and wants in a way that I hadn't for a number of years. And that feeling was what I wanted to capture with the self marriage. So then was like, self marriage. I want to make that commitment to myself to maintain this and even go deeper with it, with my own like self confidence and my own needs and desires and all of that, and be like the whole person that I am, so that no matter who I'm with or what relationship I decide to go into, that I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep me.
Sounds
So
like you
that
were really putting a stake in the ground, like, this is who I am now and what I'm committed to, and I'm not going to backslide to these other behaviors. I'm only building from here.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us a little bit more about your special day and some of your favorite details.
Yeah, so it's actually been really great talking to you because another really good friend of mine took a video of the whole ceremony, and it was really lovely to watch that again, which I just did recently after talking to you. Um, and I think just looking back at the video, that the thing that stuck out to me the most, because I invited a lot of my friends in my community, is the way that they showed up. And I felt so supported. And I think honestly, like looking back, that was another big reason. I kind of, I wanted to know that my community was there for me. And I wanted to show them that I'm not just my partner and me, my ex-husband and me. I'm Zoe. Like, all by myself, so yeah, I felt just really honored with the amount of people that showed up and really supported. So I think that was my favorite part.
Was how many people came out to support you?
Yeah.
What was it like having so many people that mattered to you come out for that day?
Yeah, it was really touching
Hmm.
to see that. And different friends bought flowers, and you know they got dressed up for the occasion. It was actually at a festival. It was at a regional Burning Man
Hmm.
in Colorado. So it was a good setting for it.
Yeah. Were there any details that were particularly important to you that you chose? Maybe your dress or a certain color that you wore or something that you asked of yourself or of others?
Um, yeah, I think all of it. I think actually saying my vows in front of the community was really important to me. And I think similarly important when we get married to a partner is that we want, our community to witness those vows, and then also support us in that commitment, right? So that felt equally important to do for my own wedding. Um, and what was the question again?
What
So,
were some of your favorite details?
yeah. Um, so that was important to me. I also got like my own dress. I did up my hair. I put flowers in my hair. A couple of my friends, young children, like scattered flowers around. And I had another friend who officiated the wedding. And so it was very like kind of a lot of elements that you would have in a regular wedding.
Yeah.
I bought my ring.
Oh yeah, let's see it. Hold it up for us. Is it
It's,
silver?
it's silver. It's got flowers engraved into it because I'm
Wow.
all about flowers, and then it has some little gems in there too,
Mm.
which is pink sapphires. But yeah, and I
Yeah.
did have it on my wedding ring, wedding finger for a long time, but I'm actually now engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. How did you pick out the ring?
Well, I looked on Etsy and I found a designer that I liked and a ring that I liked. It's a shame that you can't really see it because it has like all the like really cool flowers in it. Anyway,
Nice.
then we kind of talked about it, and she custom made it for me. So
Oh wow, you custom ordered your ring.
mhm.
Beautiful. So the everything about it from like, is it a specific type of flower or did you choose the pink stone for a specific reason?
Yeah, I chose the size and then the stones that went into it.
And what's the significance of the stones for you?
Nothing apart from I really like pink sparkly things.
Nice.
It's
Great.
one of the things that I really like. So
Yeah, to honor your preferences and what you wanted. Beautiful.
yeah.
So, after you married yourself, you mentioned that you put together a course. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, it just felt like such a profound experience. And, for me, like I said, coming out of that marriage, but it just felt like it would be good for everybody to do. And I wish that I had done it earlier. But sometimes it's those experiences that we have that are challenging that really bring us to rise to the occasion and kind of notice like all of the things, right? So it's easy to say, oh, yeah, we should all do this and we should all be confident and we should all know ourselves, but that's, for some people, maybe that is the case. And for other people, it's not. So I just, really encourage people to kind of just get in touch with that, who they are and whether this could benefit them.
Yeah, inviting that inquiry around here's what it is. What do you think would be the value for you? That sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so I kind of did some searches on the internet and was kind of doing research and stuff too throughout like my process of getting ready for my wedding, and just realizing that it wasn't kind of a well-known phenomenon. Even, there wasn't a lot of people really talking about it. There wasn't definitely not a lot of people kind of offering to lead people through it.
Mm.
And typically when I find something that is really beneficial for me, like I want to share it with everybody else. And so I did, and I put together a website, and I put together this whole course, invited a lot of my friends to come and just kind of experience this with me. And I was also kind of saying, is this something that I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
As like, no, not a career, but like, is this something I want to continue to offer and kind of see, how it's going to go and how people respond to it and things.
I have to say that every single person I've talked to about self marriage has said that it was one of the more impactful experiences of self love in their lives. I'm not surprised that it was so impactful for you and that you immediately wanted to share it with people that you loved.
Right.
Yeah. What, leading up to a self marriage, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of logistical pieces, things to plan. How did you take care of yourself in the days and weeks leading up to it?
Yeah. I think, just the process of writing my vows, like planning the event, it was very kind of like a reflective process. What really am I like wanting to commit to for the rest of my life? What elements do I want to have involved in it? And then also during my ceremony, I also wanted other people to experience like a self-marriage or like a commitment to themselves. So I actually purchased these little stone rings, and they were all different types of stone and different sizes, so that everybody at the ceremony could also marry themselves.
Mm.
Um, Tell me what the question was.
Yeah. So I was asking what you did to nurture yourself, and what I'm hearing is that you took your time writing your vows and allowing that meditation on your commitments to inform more decisions about the self marriage. Do you have your vows? Would we be able to hear them?
I do. Okay. So I vow to be my beloved always and in all ways. I vow to check in with myself. If I'm not a strong yes, then I'm a no. Actually, how I said this or thought about it, I don't know, can I swear on here?
Oh yeah.
All right. If I'm not a fuck yes, then I'm a hell no. I vow to give myself the space and time um, to process and tune in to how I feel and figure out what it is I need or want. I vow to do my best to find my deepest truth and have the courage to express it. I vow to take care of myself from this day forward through sickness and in health, through the good times and the bad, till death do I part.
Beautiful.
I've got two more.
Oh yeah, great.
I vow to create an opportunity for growth, for full self-expression, for lifting my life to the highest potential, and for healing every false thought or small idea I ever had about me.
Mm.
And the last one is I vow to fucking love myself.
So good. What's it like for you to read them through for us?
It feels good. I think what I see now in my relationship, I think partly is with those commitments, like not ever being in a relationship where I feel like my power is diminished. So I think that really helped me, when I was starting to date and have that sense of like, oh no, I'm like feeling, disempowered or whatever, like don't want that, right? Mm-hmm. So it kind of I think part of it is taking like full responsibility for your life,
Hmm.
right? So that means not getting into a relationship where you're gonna feel the things that you really don't want to feel, or be a certain way in a relationship that you really don't want.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm now in a partnership that feels really equal, where I actually feel like inspired and uplifted to be the best version of myself possible.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
good. And your vows, I believe everyone's vows are so personal. What process did you go through to write them? Did you write them all in one go? Did you draft them and then revise them? What was that process like?
That's a good question. I don't know that I really remember.
Mhm.
I think I think it probably took me a few days to think about them, um and I probably did some revisions, but I don't really remember.
Yeah. Do you remember how far ahead of your wedding you did them?
I was probably thinking about it for a while, but I
Mhm.
probably did it a couple of days before, because I
Yeah.
tend to be a procrastinator.
Let it simmer. It's on your
And
mind,
then
but
she
then
said,
actually pen
okay,
to paper. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. So since your self-marriage, what has the impact on your life been?
Well, like I said, I think the biggest thing is how I show up in relationship.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's to me, it's easy to be myself when I'm by myself, but when you're with another person, that for me has been difficult in the past. So, like I said, like even picking a partner where I feel equal to, and all those wonderful things that I talked about, feeling uplifted, feeling like I want to be my best self. That's probably been the biggest change.
So it sounds like that ritual, you put the stake in the ground and that ritual has helped you hold it
Yeah,
and move forward.
yeah, I like that analogy of that, because definitely that was kind of the sense and the feeling that I got with this. Yeah.
Hmm. When you were going into that self-marriage, were there any last minute surprises that or challenges you had to overcome?
Um, Not necessarily going into the marriage, but then later on, um, I realized like the fuck yes or the hell no, like that was actually really hard for me, and I kind of, because that was probably the hardest one. I had it written on my
Mhm.
wardrobe for a couple of years, and like sometimes, because I'm quite easygoing, so sometimes I can be, well, I don't know, maybe. So
Mhm.
I really had to kind of define that for me. Like I had to practice that
Mm.
and find out where my edge, and like, oh, I'm a slight no. So yeah, I'm a hell no. Like, like just, oh, I don't know, like just trying to find those.
Yeah. I love what you're saying because we write our vows and we can think like this is the letter. I'm following these and it's right. And sometimes it's where we start. Like we make our vows and that's where we start and then the nuance unfolds over time and it gives us something to look back on and to meditate on, but it's not that we have to do it exactly that way.
Right.
There's still
And I
value.
think, yeah, I definitely had to practice that. And now it's a lot looser for me. Like it's not as important for me. I can be like kind of wishy-washy about things, and it's okay
Mhm.
because I've gone there. Like now it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not of a big issue anymore. It's not like a big thing that I have to,
Nice.
yeah.
So I imagine that when you were at this Burning Man event, knowing how awesome open-minded burners are, there probably was a ton of support. I'm curious afterwards if you faced any critics, and if so, how you handled that.
Yeah, I didn't really. Pretty much everybody, my friends, my family, they were like, yay. Um, I think, what was my dad's joke? My stepdad had a joke. It was something like, oh, um, if you're a bad partner, how are you going to get divorced to yourself? You'll never be able to get divorced, or something like that. It was some kind of joke about it. But apart from that, I mean, even that, he was just being funny.
Yeah.
But I felt really supported in it. Didn't have anybody who was like, oh, that's kind of weird, or why
Mhm.
did you do that? Yeah.
Nice. How do you remember the occasion every year? Do you celebrate your anniversary?
So I don't. I actually haven't.
Mhm.
I have this ring on my finger, which is really what reminds me, and since you're thinking about that, I mean, that would be nice to do,
Cool.
like
Yeah.
an anniversary celebration. So,
Yeah. And I don't think it's necessary to have an anniversary. I think what I've learned about self marriage is if we ascribe to the belief that there's a right way, we're kind of missing the point of self love at the root of it. And I love that the ring is your consistent reminder about it. I think it can be different for all of us. What would you say to others who are considering self marriage?
but I think, like you said, it can look so many different ways. And so, you know, if you're considering it, then you're probably going to find it's going to be useful for you.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be a huge event where you invite your friends and family. It can just be, something that you're doing by yourself, and you just set um, your own like simple ceremony around it. Just like my friend when she originally did it. You don't have to buy a ring. You don't have to, like you said. I mean, it just can look so many different ways. That and even probably more so than like actually getting married to someone, because that does have a lot of like social norms around it that this doesn't. So it could just be that you're meditating and that you make that commitment to yourself,
Yeah.
or you just say it out loud. I think those are really good
Hmm.
ways. And self-love, that is really what it comes down to. That's
Yes.
really at the base of why we would even want to get married to ourselves.
That's right. I love that. And in this interview series, I am going to talk to a few people who married themselves almost spur of the moment. They really did it in a way that was simple and beautiful because that is what's right for some people. You and I, like, we kind of went all out. We did our thing. And that's, it's not what everybody chooses to do. So I love that as something to leave listeners with is really it's about honoring yourself. It's about making choices that are the fuck yes for you. And if you do that and you feel called to self marriage, you're probably going to get something out of it, whether it's a life changing moment or some new beautiful insights about self love.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Zoe, for this amazing interview. I really enjoyed hearing about your self marriage.
Thank you, Meg. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been lovely just to kind of revisit and look at all these things that I had, like even my vows, and looking at, there was a video that a friend of mine took of the wedding that I just rewatched because after talking to you
Good.
a couple of days ago. So it's been nice to kind of tap back into that again.
Awesome. And I think you said you'll make the video available. Maybe we'll put some snippets of it in this interview, or maybe we'll
Yeah.
just link to it or something. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sounds great. Whatever works best.
awesome. Well, thanks again, and good luck with everything coming up.
Thanks so much.